Welcome to Red Eye. I'm Greg Gutfeld, in for Turf Rutman, who's recovering from a neck massager accident. Turf, just tell the surgeon you fell on it. Let's go to TV's Andy Levy for our pregame report. Andy, what's coming up on tonight's show in sport?
Thanks, Greg. And how you living, America? Our top story tonight, Al-Qaeda releases a statement confirming the death of Osama bin Laden. Now I don't know what to believe. Plus, were America's celebrations of the death of bin Laden in bad taste? Some say yes, but others say no. I guess I just ruined that story. And finally, Ron Paul bravely stands up for heroin during Thursday night's Republican presidential debate. A grateful nation salutes you, Dr. Paul. Greg?
Thank you, Andy.
Happy International Tuba Day, Greg.
You're making this one up, aren't you, Andy?
In fact, I'm not, Greg. International Tuba Day was founded by a strapping young lad named Joel Day back in 1979. He was a tuba player in a band at Lower Merion High School in Philadelphia, PA. He started it as a result of the lack of respect for tuba and tuba players by his fellow musicians.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Did you know the tuba was patented in 1835 by Wiebrecht and Moritz in Germany?
Can't say I care, Andy.
When playing the tuba, your blow has to be big with fast air to get the sound out.
You know about blowing, Andy.
And we're done here.
Go away. Let's welcome our guests. She's so sweet, just looking at her gives you diabetes. I'm here tonight with Mary Catherine Ham, 3 names, Fox News contributor and Daily Caller contributing writer. And to get their clothes off faster, he tells his students that he's also a doctor. It's Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, Associate Professor of Education and African American Studies at Columbia University. And he couldn't afford the rest of the hormone treatments. It's my repulsive sidekick, Bill Schultz. And sitting right next to me, none other than Ann Coulter, conservative political commentator, columnist, and author. Coming out on June 7th will be her new book, Demonic, which tells the harrowing story of her life as a Satanist in the early 80s. Those were scary times, and she regrets nothing. And he stinks of death with bad breath. It's our New York Times correspondent. Why are you alive?
According to Times reviewer Manolo Dargis, the puppet steals the show in Mel Gibson's latest effort, The Beaver. Here's the thing, puppets always steal the show. And I will burn your house to the ground. Jacuzzi.
Very good.
You're welcome.
All right.
It's a little Mel Gibson.
I know. Very little. Did killing bin Laden make Al-Qaeda feel maudlin? Well, the terrorist group confirmed the turd's demise today and released a statement that promised, among other things, revenge. Says the unbathed ones, it will remain with permission from God Almighty, a curse that hunts the Americans and their collaborators and chases them outside and inside their country. Their happiness will turn into sorrow, and the blood will be mixed with their tears. But there's more. There's more-ers. In a Red Eye exclusive, we were leaked the full audio of Al-Qaeda's call to arms. Take a listen, listen takers.
We will not stop till America is brought to her knees. Praise Allah. We will bring jihad to the shores of the United States in the following ways. By flooding Dancing with the Stars line so as to get fat American pig Kirstie Alley the win, when everyone knows Heinz Ward deserves it. Revealing spoiler alerts to both Thor and the much-anticipated Hotel for Dogs 2. 7 words, kick me signs, and lots of them. Spam mail, spam mail, spam mail. Calling into radio stations to request Lady Gaga's new single, Judas, ad nauseum. Ordering a dozen pizza pies to the White House, making Obama pay for it. Cursing under our breath at America. Dating Jennifer Aniston and then breaking up with her. Leaving anonymous anti-American comments on your favorite blogs. Kidnapping Americans and forcing them to eat one and only one Pringle. Yes, you have popped, infidel, but now you must stop. That is all for now. Death to America. P.S. Go Heat.
Well, that was an unnecessary snipe at the great Kirstie Alley, but then again, they truly are monsters. Worse still, the CIA has confirmed that documents taken from the compound reveal a plot against America's railroads. An Amtrak attack, if you will. If only there was some kind of video featuring ducklings and yo-yos that could calm our nerves.
Están hipnotizados. Pobres patos, dude.
It did kind of work, didn't it? I feel a lot better. I really do. Hey, Ann, do you think we're really under more of a threat now? Or does it, I mean, how can you tell the difference between revenge and regular terrorism?
Right. I think this was kind of an easy cut and paste job. Because I think they were also after the great Satan before Sunday.
Yeah.
But I do like that they don't believe that we really killed Osama, and yet they are swearing vengeance for his death. No, the one good thing about your report just now is that there is apparently now a threat against the railroads, which I am strongly in favor of people who take railroads, taxis, buses, private planes, having to go through that which those of us who fly commercial air have to go through.
Very good, very good. Yeah, Professor, you hang with these guys a lot. Did Al Qaeda just accept this way too easily? And that makes it very suspicious.
I just left the meeting just a few minutes ago.
Yes, that's what I thought.
We're eating bacon. Here's the thing. No one really believes that Osama's dead.
Really?
No.
No?
It's all a big plot to captivate you guys. You know, in real life, no one believes Osama's dead. I don't believe Osama's dead.
You don't?
No, I don't believe Osama's dead. No, come on.
I do.
There's no pitch. As much as you people hate...
I'm with you.
Thank you. See, as much as you people hate Barack Obama, if he had pictures or evidence, he would walk around with Osama's head around his neck like a chain, like a rapper or something. If he had
I'm so with you on the pictures.
he would show a picture. He would have it'd be in his wallet like his kids. There would be no way.
I don't know.
I am on AQ message. I believe he's dead. You know,
Yeah.
I'm with So
Why do you
I
think
came
he's
from the meeting.
Why do you believe he's dead?
I came from the meeting too.
How'd you get in the meeting? You were wearing a burqa.
Yes.
I thought you were straight in the dress on. Yeah.
But don't you want to see the picture?
No, I do want to see the picture. I thought that
Well,
was
then
going
you
to be done
should
by
start
the time.
going around saying you don't believe it.
All right.
until you see
It's
the
the only way you
Now
can see the
on.
picture.
None of us believe it until we see the picture.
It's we're double dog daring him. He's
Gotcha.
holding it.
Bill, I want to bring you into this, but I fear that you don't even know that this happened this week.
Wait, what exactly are we talking about right now, anyway? I thought we were focusing on the royal wedding, at least for A block.
Yes.
I do think it's kind of a good sign that they've gone from hijacking 4 planes and directing them into these gigantic, well-protected targets, destroying them, to sawing off train tracks Wile E. Coyote style. I think that it's good that they've digressed to that
Well, I
point.
mean, I know it's not the end of the war on terror, but a lot of the momentum is gone. And I disagree. He is dead.
How do you because Al Qaeda says he's dead?
Well, that makes me a little less positive.
Right.
But I'm still, I have to believe he's dead.
Why? Because Obama said it?
Yes. No, because
When did you start believing Obama?
you probably think
because I trust the military. I don't see how Obama could convince the SEALs to fake it. Come on.
Do you really think they
haven't
can tell
talked to
Osama
the
from another
SEALs,
guy
but
with a
the
turban and a
SEALs-
beard? I mean, really? Do you really think they can tell?
They had a 99.9%
Excellent
DNA. They had
I'm not saying they all look alike, though, because now that you've agreed with me, that's what they're going to say I said.
Either that or that SEALs are dumb. I'm
I'm not saying the SEALs are dumb. I'm just saying they could have been given faulty information.
No, but we haven't heard
like
from the
President
SEALs.
Bush.
And also, I think we're kind of burying the lead here. The mixing your happiness with tears, they totally plagiarized that from Hallmark.
That is
That
true.
is a lie I've read. Most of the cards I get have that.
Yeah,
line.
that actually angered me. I have to say, I'm not a conspiracy thinker, so there's no way you can get everybody involved in this conspiracy, Professor. I know you love conspiracies, but I have to say you're
We
crazy.
I'm not a
just wanna
birther.
see the
I'm not a
photo.
truther. I believe Bill was born a boy. It's the only, so most days,
It's working.
It's just his one thing. I don't cry.
All right. Okay, from Al Qaeda's response to ours. So does celebrating his end make us no better than them? Was there too much revelry over his burial at sea? Ooh, that rhymes. Maybe so. It made you choke. Well, the New York Times reports for some Americans, the chanting and partying after bin Laden's death was appalling. Said one Army vet from North Carolina, I don't think it's decent to celebrate a killing like that. And a University of Virginia student writing in the college newspaper called the whoop-de-doo, quote, the worst kind of jingoistic hubris. In blogs and online forums, solemn citizens ask, doesn't taking revenge and glorifying in it make us look just like the terrorists? Well, actually, no. According to social scientists, the appetite for revenge makes us human. As one psychologist notes, revenge evolved as a deterrent to impose a cost on people who threatened a community. So what could set off more revelry? Well, after much internal debate, the White House has just released video of bin Laden's burial at sea. Watch. Just for our own production value's sake, that was just any kind of gall that we found.
Right.
And just
Not to mention, inaccurate, they were supposed to weigh him down.
No.
That was a floater, Greg. That was a floater.
And you are an expert on those, I might add.
And it's not in Islamic law if there are two fleshes, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, the second one was a courtesy flush. MCAT, what do you think? I mean, if you can't celebrate this, what can you celebrate?
I mean, jingoistic hubris, back me up on this, is such a university phrase. Good Lord. Somebody's been hanging out on campus way too much. And just, you know, go home and pray for me. I'm going to be on the goalpost.
Yes. Professor, why is it okay to cheer when the Mets, you know, do badly, but not when terrorists do?
Well, because everyone hates the Mets. Terrorists is much more of a mixed bag here, you know? No, I mean, here's
Terrible. Terrible.
I think this is disgusting, though, Greg. I do. I was actually watching the Mets game when they announced it. I was pissed off because they turned the volume down and to hear President Obama. And they were talking about this, and the whole bar starts cheering and shouting USA and singing God Bless America in the middle of this game, by the way. I can't get over it. It's cut off the game. And
that's why you're mad.
Yeah, that's the main reason I'm mad. But the other thing is, it felt like bloodlust, man. It was like, I think Osama's a bad guy. Let me be clear, because I don't want to get bad. Osama's a bad guy. I'm not upset that he's dead, but I just feel weird that we're that happy that he's dead.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I was at a bar.
If he were dead, which he's not.
I'm glad you added that.
We see the picture.
Yeah, I was one of the guys who I wasn't cheering USA. But for me, when I was at
were you cheering?
Canada, which was weird.
Yeah, but that's for the next story.
Okay.
I think you could distinguish gloating with closure, and I felt closure. I felt very kind of, I almost like cried, and I never cry. When closing call, I cry. Last call, I cry, but not. I was choked up. And what do you think? There's a happy medium, right?
No, I must say I didn't like it until I heard these comments you just put up there. Now that I see that it's hubristic jingoism, now I'm for it. But the reason I didn't like it is, I hate to be a naysayer, I'm glad we got him, but it did take 10 years. Our military is fantastic. Our intelligence, thank you, Democrats, is abominable. This is Valerie Plame, you know, Miss Expert on the terrorists, sitting around, you know, posing for Vanity Fair. It shouldn't have taken us 10 years, for one thing. And for another thing, I think this whole story gives the lie to the taunt that we've been hearing from liberals for 6 years now. Where's Osama? Where's Osama? Where's Osama? Well, unless they're going to drop those airport procedures, killing Osama has nothing to do with the threat of terrorism anymore.
Well, it took Obama 2 years.
I was going to say, it took Republicans 8 years. It took Obama only 2 years.
But it was based on hard work.
The intelligence that you guys want to prosecute interrogators for.
Well, I mean, that's a whole different thing. I'm totally okay with prosecuting interrogation. You can't use enhanced. First of all, it's not enhanced interrogation. It's torture.
I wish it were.
And I'm you're just pro-torture.
Oh, yes. Oh, you send me to Guantanamo, these guys will see torture.
By the way, you guys know that you are jumping ahead to the next story, like Gregalog, which will then be rendered useless.
He had the audacity to give Obama credit for this kill.
Oh, he did.
I'm sorry, I had to jump ahead, and I didn't know what our next story was.
See, now we're backing up. See, we didn't prep, Greg. You think we read these stories ahead of time?
Never read the topics.
He gives us way too much credit.
But I got to tell you,
working for the weekend, the both of you.
Bill, isn't revenge underrated? The idea of letting go. That only helps the guy that screwed you over. And I'm talking about in the workplace, everywhere. You know, there's a good thing when somebody does something to you, gets. You know,
it's a good look. I exact tiny little bits of revenge every day. And
To me,
exactly,
for no reason.
Enjoy your water, by the way.
It tastes like asparagus.
The worst part is I didn't even have asparagus last night. I love how the social psychologist called the human reaction we had to this, pure existential release. Now, if that's the case, then I celebrate Osama's death every night before I go to bed.
Really? I have no idea what you're talking about, and thank you for bringing this whole story to the shutter. I don't know. I think, okay, when people, I believe that you're sincere when you're saying it bothers you, but I think a lot of this reaction when you hear those phrases is an exercise in moral superiority.
Yes.
And they like it because we're Americans, and a lot of these, like in Germany, a lot of the stuff you hear, it's just people going, oh, they're ugly Americans acting ugly.
Well, and it wasn't all just that he's dead. It was partly like, man, America kind of needed a little shot in the arm.
Yeah.
It's been a rough couple of years.
It's been 10 years. years.
Only 2 for Obama, though.
No.
He was able to fake a cat killing in 2 years.
I smell a bumper sticker. Only 2 for Obama.
Done and done, sir. The T-shirt is in the green room.
Yes. Should I do the Gregolog? Do I have time? It's a tattoo of truth on a deltoid of dishonesty. Oh. So a lot of people deserve credit for killing bin Laden, Professor. President Obama, the Navy SEALs, our military in general, intelligence gatherers, the previous administration, and many other people. But you also got to give credit to Deborah Burlingame, sister of one of the victims of 9/11, who used her chance to meet President Obama yesterday to gently prod him over the indictments of CIA interrogators. Remember, CIA Director Leon Panetta admits that the initial info that led to finding bin Laden came in part from enhanced interrogation techniques used on detainees. So, I saw that. So why then the prosecution? Well, Deborah noted the irony and asked the president to press Eric Holder to end them. Obama said he wouldn't, which is poop. To me, prosecuting CIA agents after bin Laden's death is like the Packers trading Aaron Rodgers to the Panthers after winning the Super Bowl. That's not exactly like going to prison, but it is the Panthers. And yes, I made a sports metaphor. I do know my baseball after all. Anyway, if the Justice Department had half a brain, they'd stop harassing the folks who just upped Obama's approval rating. And Obama should focus on Holder himself, who seems to harbor some bitterness against anyone who works in some capacity protecting our country. I mean, I suppose waterboarding's bad, but I guess it would be fine if it happened in front of a voting booth. Am I right?
What?
Yeah. Anyway, the president wisely credited the CIA's role in killing bin Laden and added, we may never know the names of those agents due to the nature of the work. But if you prosecute them, you'll know who the heroes are because they'll be behind bars. And if you disagree with me, you, sir, are worse than Hitler. MCAT, what do you say? Deborah Burlingame is a tough cookie, huh?
Yeah, she's always taking it to him. She's like, oh, I get to meet the president again. What? She's going to lose her invite next time.
I know. Yeah.
Why do you keep inviting her?
Next time, like, oh, it's such a one.
And, well, do you think they're actually going to prosecute? Is this going to go away quietly?
It may go away quietly the same way the civilian trial for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed went away quietly, but I think all of this illustrates the hysteria of liberals over enhanced interrogations, the claims that they're going to have civilian prosecutions for terrorists. We're going to shut down Guantanamo. We're going to prosecute the CIA agents. I think this is why Leon Panetta, or maybe just the SEALs themselves, said, screw it, we're going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
Because that's a big dispute right now. Oh, they captured him. He wasn't fighting back. They lied about that. It turns out he wasn't armed. He wasn't shooting back. But they just thought, if we bring him alive, Eric Holder will be trying him in New York City. Bullet to the head.
Yeah.
He'll probably end up being free and running for mayor. You never know, Greg.
You never know, crazy weird person I hired.
Wait, me?
Yes.
I'm not against shooting him, actually.
Yeah.
This may surprise you. I'm not against shooting him. I think capture doesn't make sense. He becomes a martyr if he has a trial, becomes this long drawn-out thing. Shoot him if you think he should be shot. And I don't care if he's holding a gun or not. He's already done enough damage. He doesn't need to be holding a gun at the moment. You know, he clearly has reach, right? He's a mob boss. But for me, the issue isn't even torture. I'm not against torture per se.
See, now we agree on everything.
No. I'm against it right now because, one, we don't call it that. We call it enhanced interrogation. And two, we're in violation of international law. If we say, look, screw international law, this isn't torture, then we can make a case for it. But then you also have to prove to me that it works. Right now, there's no evidence that enhanced interrogation works.
You may be a professor of African American studies. I am a lawyer, and I just want to tell you, international law is like the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. It does not exist.
Okay, but what about the other point, right?
Wait a second.
You said that in front of Bill.
We said we'd wait 10 years. We said we'd wait until he was 40 for that.
Except the Easter Bunny who exists, Bill.
You okay, Bill?
He's real, Bill.
You okay?
Where am I right now? You paint those eggs?
Yes, I did.
They were terrible.
I know they were. All right, we got to move on. They're yelling at me in my ear. Coming up, are magic markers the tools of the devil? We discuss Ann Coulter's new book, Magic Markers Are the Tools of the Devil, and their attack on the religious right. Always at it there. But first, is it about time we banned saggy pants? Sure, why not? I haven't really prepared for this segment, to be perfectly honest. would help us all. He puts the con in Canadian on a recent episode of TMZ TV. We saw actor and food enthusiast Louis Lombardi saying it was embarrassing that the next season of Jersey Shore was being shot in Italy, and that, quote, no wonder they hate us around the world, as in the U.S. He took it a step further.
They hate the Americans, don't they, over there? Everybody hates the Americans. We're animals.
Have some more food, Louis. You really need to get fat pig. Anyway, his little outburst sparked a discussion in the TMZ newsroom with staffer Dax Holt, his real name, Bill, taking a, shall we say, interesting position.
He's picking a bad week to say that stuff, isn't he?
Well, it's kind of true, though, because don't you go somewhere and you're like, I'm Canadian, and you tell people I'm Canadian, because then they like you better.
What the hell did you just say?
Do you swear to God?
Sometimes it's a smart move. People hate Americans around the world. You go traveling, you're like, I'm Canadian. Suddenly you do good friends.
You go on vacation and you lie?
Sometimes you have to.
No, you don't. It's your job to put on a happy face and show people that people in America have frosty tips and big smiles and the good
I am not the only one that does this. Trust me.
Wow, Dax, you're almost as smart as a dog trying to get a statue to play fetch. Professor, the real tragedy here is that you can't tell people you're Canadian. So what do you do?
I'm not Canadian.
Yes, I mean, you can't.
Do they have black people in Canada?
I don't know.
No.
I've never been to Canada.
I was just there. They have no black people.
Exactly. It's like Keith Olbermann's old show, you know?
Yeah,
no
exactly.
black people.
Exactly.
So do you tell people you're not American when you travel?
I do.
Yes.
I don't say I'm Canadian, though.
Yes.
God. Who wants to be Canadian? If you want to lie, you have to pick something powerful. Something like that.
Nigerian. Oh, so you're like, you run an embassy and you're in possession of $350 million?
Yes. And then they send me, then Bill sends me his checking kind of thing.
Yeah, a Nigerian with a Philly accent.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm sure you're a professor.
I can put on an accent, you fool. And if I were white, I would say I was something like German or something powerful. I wouldn't fake Canadian.
Yeah.
I would be Canadian.
Yeah. MCAT, do you buy the fact that he does that? Isn't this just like one of those old urban cliches?
No, he totally does that.
Yeah.
And you know what he also does? He says jingoistic hubris. He does both of those things. Those things overlap entirely.
You know who doesn't say that? The entire staff of TMZ.
Yeah.
They don't even know what those words mean.
And I got to give credit to the TMZ guys for going off on him, though. That was nice because he was being a jerk. Yes, I said it. I was going to say jerk.
That's so going to be censored.
I know.
And if it isn't, oh, you're getting complaint letters.
Well, who's worse? Who's worse, that fat jackass or the guy with the goofy prig with the frosty hair?
Is that John Edwards?
No, the guy in the clip.
Oh, I'm sorry. I not only did not read the topics, I wasn't watching the clip.
You only start paying attention when the statue went through the stairs.
Bill, you often you used to pretend you were Canadian, and then the government actually sent you a strongly worded letter asking you to stop. They are
when I lived in Australia, I would tell people that I was Japanese, which was a huge mistake because they hate Asians.
Oh, really? I had no idea. I love Canada. Canada is a great country.
It sure is. I was just having fun. Yeah. Because you know what? Canadians are great comedians.
They really are.
They have a lot of them.
Yeah, and they all come here.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, I was at a bar and I was mistaken for Harvey Levin. Is that
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I was at a Newark bar at the airport, or an airport at the Newark a bar at the airport in Newark. I'm still drunk. And this guy comes up who's slightly drunk, and he goes, "Oh, I guess you think you're somebody special." And I'm like going, I think I'm assuming he's talking about Red Eye. He goes, "Yeah, you and all your celebrity gossip. Where's your cup?" And I'm like going, "What are you talking about?" And then I realized he thought I was Harvey Levin.
That is
and
amazing.
And I cried.
That's not the kind of bar that Harvey Levin would frequent.
I look a lot better than he does. I'm sorry.
Maybe he was confusing you for that dirty gay guy in L.A. And not TMZ. You know who writes the gossip blog?
What?
You mean Perez?
Yes. How do you know you picked the good-looking guy to be confused with?
Yeah, that's true. You do have a little bit of
the good-looking heterosexual.
He's got a little Perez in him, like I did last night.
Hey, so do you have a comment on this? Email us. It's redeye@foxnews.com, and to leave a voicemail on my direct line, 212-462-5050. Still to come, the halftime report from TV's Andy Levy.
We gave him a lot.
Yeah. Welcome back. Let's find out if we've got anything wrong so far. Stop doing that. For that, we go to TV's Andy Levy. Andy, you do seem a little angry.
Oh, I'm more than a little angry, Greg. Did you see that In Touch magazine reported that Ryan Phillippe was cheating on Amanda Seyfried?
I can't believe he did that, Andy.
Oh, he didn't, Greg. Gossip Cop looked into the story, and absolutely nobody could verify In Touch's story. I am so furious, I could spit.
Wow, that's amazing. You should be relieved.
I can't be relieved. I'm still too upset. Ryan says he's considering suing In Touch, and I got to tell you, I'm considering suing them too for the emotional distress their false reports have put me through. I have not slept in days, Greg.
Andy, to be honest, I'm not sure you'd have a very good case.
Well, at the very least, I'm canceling my subscription.
I applaud that decision, Andy.
Although I will say that when I saw the In Touch report that Ryan was spotted in New York hanging out with a quote-unquote gorgeous blonde, I was kind of flattered.
Well, you should be.
Yeah. Love you, In Touch.
Aww.
Yeah. Al-Qaeda says bin Laden is dead. And you said, unless I heard you wrong, you said Al-Qaeda doesn't think we've killed bin Laden, but they're vowing revenge. But they've confirmed that he's dead.
By vowing revenge.
Right.
But you said he wasn't sure he was dead. You said they weren't sure.
You said they weren't sure he was dead.
Right. That's because I think they are holding both positions simultaneously. I'm pointing out the contradiction in that.
But they have confirmed that he's dead.
It's all a conspiracy.
By vowing revenge.
I don't know where
We're going to keep going in this circle, but I think it's contradictory for them simultaneously for 4 days to be saying, we don't believe it, we don't believe it, we don't believe it, and now we're taking revenge for Osama's death. And what, we're all celebrating because, yay, Al-Qaeda says he's dead. Well, Mark Lamont Hill and I do not.
They are saying now they believe he's dead.
It's all a trick, Levy.
Not until we see the photo. Don't trust Al-Qaeda.
Okay, Professor, it's fine if silly that you said you don't believe bin Laden's dead, but saying that President Obama would wear his head on a chain around his neck like a rapper is just straight up racist. Shame on you. Just shame on you.
Yeah.
Awful.
Hey, Levy.
Yeah.
While you're ombudsing people, at the beginning of the show, you said that Lower Merion was in Philadelphia, PA. It's not. It's in Lower Merion, PA.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Zing!
Wow!
I think I meant to say near Philadelphia. So no, you're absolutely correct.
Who's the ombudsman now, Levy?
No, the thing is, when I make mistakes, I say I made a mistake and I move on. I don't pretend I didn't make a mistake. MCAT, you were saying in the green room that you agree with Michael Moore that America lost a piece of her soul when we killed bin Laden. How come?
I just think it's very sad. It's a very sad moment for us.
Yeah.
Why you gotta call me out?
You didn't say off the record. I don't know. Professor, you said, quote, do you think the SEALs can tell the difference between guys in turbans, meaning it's not really bin Laden they killed? First of all, bin Laden doesn't wear a turban, he wears a keffiyeh, so, racist again. Secondly, yeah, I'm pretty sure SEAL Team 6 could recognize bin Laden.
I'm not so sure.
I know you're
Why
not.
are you sure about that, Andy?
I know you're not racist.
Are you part of the conspiracy, too?
First of all, you seriously believe Bill was born a boy, so you have no credibility whatsoever.
Touche.
Glad I could come into this.
Yep. Were celebrations over bin Laden's death gross? Professor, you mentioned that you were watching the Mets-Phillies game when the news broke that bin Laden was killed.
Yeah.
Who won that game?
After the president gave his stirring speech, I cried myself to sleep and did not watch any of the game.
It was the Mets. It was a perfect night. Bin Laden was killed, and the Mets beat the Phillies.
Wow.
Awesome night. Yep.
In fact, whenever the United States catches a terrorist leader, the Mets win a game, right?
Once every 10 years.
Yep. Nicely done.
Right.
Nicely done.
Once every 10 years. You can't hurt me. I'm a Mets fan. You can waterboard me. It doesn't matter. I've lived through worse.
This has become a common area in the sports blog all of a sudden.
MCAT, you said to the people complaining about the celebrating, go pray for me, I'll be on the goal posts.
Right.
See, I'm of two minds on the celebrating thing. I don't have any problem with celebrating the death of a mass murderer, celebrating the guys who did it, etc. What bothers me is some of the celebrations seem to be kind of the look at me, kind of mugging for the TV cameras kind of thing, and that just seems a little distasteful to me. But
I'm just not all judgy,
Okay.
It's like you want to express it that way. I'm being very open-minded about it.
Okay. All right.
I agree with you.
Good enough.
Yeah, you're having a good
I think
time,
sometimes
not
people like to be
fucking me.
critical in order to get the camera on them, Andy.
Can we take me full screen, please? Thank you. And you said that Professor Hill had the audacity to give Obama credit for this kill. How do you not give him at least some credit?
I didn't say the audacity to give him at least some credit. He's giving him all the credit.
All of it. He orchestrated this whole conspiracy. This whole conspiracy is orchestrated by the Obama administration.
And he meet Marc Lamont Hill.
That's right. We're not buying it. That's right here. Not buying it.
Name in town. Name in town.
Greg Alog putting CIA operatives on trial. Greg, you said, quote, to me, prosecuting CIA agents after bin Laden's death is like the Packers trading Aaron Rodgers to the Panthers after winning the Super Bowl. Somebody told you to write that, right?
Well, I was a little worried that the person telling me that would try to trick me. So I actually looked up all of those elements, and sure enough, there is a team called the Panthers, and Mr. Aaron Rodgers is employed by an organization called the Packers in Wisconsin.
Yes.
So it all checked out before I wrote it.
Okay.
Very good.
Good enough. Good enough. Here's the thing I don't get on this story. MCAT, maybe you can help me out here. The Bush Justice Department advised that enhanced interrogation techniques were legal.
Right.
You can disagree or disagree with that assessment, but that's what the Justice Department said. So how do you then prosecute the people who were told they were following the law?
I don't understand. You need to talk to Eric Holder.
Okay.
Or get Deborah Burlingame, too.
Okay.
She's the one to send in there.
All right. Bill, just so you know, the Tooth Fairy is real.
Good. We're talking about the dude I met last night at the Ramrod, right?
Yes. Yes.
No, the only reason why the tooth fairy is important to you is because of your meth habit.
Yeah. Does the Tooth Fairy ever give back, Andy, rather than take? That's what I'm in the market for.
Hey, is that not going to be censored?
Please.
Bill gets half his salary from the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change.
TMZ, Dax Holt says sometimes he tells people he's Canadian when he travels abroad. Okay, I got to come clean here. This is actually my fault. When I travel abroad, I tell people I'm Dax Holt and I do really bad things.
No,
So now when he goes abroad, he has to say he's someone else from a different country.
Sorry, Thailand.
Yeah, my bad.
That's what you get for having your name Dax.
Yep, absolutely.
Dax.
I just like telling people my name is Dax Holt.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to stand for something.
I don't think it does.
It sounds like an airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the DAX?
Yeah, I'll be landing on Dax tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Accurate.
That makes no sense.
I'm
Or
done.
does it? You're done?
Yep.
Go away. Well, is communism more fun when you're nude? We discuss Professor Hill's new book, Pinkos in the Pink. But first, what was the first Republican debate like? Was it a lot of fun? I'm sure that's debatable. Please kill me. Well, it was clearly the highlight of the night. My new foot pajamas arrived in the mail. But also, I speak of a moment in last night's GOP debate. During a lightning round, an idea they stole clearly from us, candidates were asked to answer questions about issues that would give them the most problems in the primaries. Texas Congressman Ron Paul was confronted with his liberal stance, or libertarian stance actually, on drugs and prostitution. Soon he found himself arguing in favor of legalizing heroin.
If I leave it to the states, it's going to be up to the states. Up until this past century, you know, for over 100 years they were legal. What you're inferring is, you know what? If we legalized heroin tomorrow, everybody's going to use heroin. How many people here would use heroin if it was legal? I bet nobody would put the hand, oh yeah, I need the government to take care of me. I don't want to use heroin, so I need these laws.
I never thought heroin would get applause here in South Carolina.
How unintentionally adorable is he? Anyway, let's discuss this all in the original
Lightning round. Lightning round.
MCAT, as a well-known drug dealer, you must know, wouldn't legalizing heroin create a lot of business?
Well, yes, great for the economy.
Yes.
Well regulated. And I
Yes.
also think it's about daggone time someone started the national conversation on heroin. And the GOP field is just taking care of that for us.
Yeah, MCAT for the longest time has been a heroin addict. I'm very proud of it.
Enthusiast, Greg. She's a heroin enthusiast.
Yeah, that's true.
You and your words.
And who came out looking good in this debate overall?
I didn't see it, but Herman Cain. And if I could just say about Ron Paul in that answer, that's the only part of the debate I have seen, so I'd like to comment on it. This reminds me of what drives me crazy about libertarians. First of all, the people who are in favor of legalizing things like drugs and prostitution are the ones who can't get get sex the way normal people do. Let's legalize it. And number two, it's as if these libertarians live in a vacuum from 1910. Did we just pass Obamacare? Do we live in a massive welfare state? How about we get rid of that before we talk about legalizing heroin?
It's weird. When I do heroin, I do think I'm living in a vacuum. A space vacuum with claws, giant eyeballs. Professor, what drugs should be legalized and which ones are you on?
All of them. Now to your question, which one should be legalized? All of them, actually. I'm going with that.
Yes.
You know, I think the war on drugs is foolish.
Yes.
You know, Ron Paul and I are, we spent trillions of dollars on the war on drugs.
Yeah.
And drugs are cheaper, they're easier to get, and they're stronger than ever. We lost the war.
Yeah.
And
war's over.
Yeah.
We've lost the war on murder.
No.
Yes, people are still committing murder.
If we legalized murder, more people would commit them. People like because
yes, and if we legalize drugs, more people will use them.
I'm with Ron Paul. Who would start using heroin because it's legal or crack?
All the people who will now have
Bill and I are looking at each other.
Well, these two
maybe marijuana, but that's not harmful.
I know people that could get an 8-ball quicker than a Domino's pizza right now with just a phone call. I know these people. The war is not working. And I will also add that, well, I applaud Ron Paul's stance. I know that comes as a shock, Rick. Well, I applaud his stance. I do question the reliability of the prostitute and heroin addict voter.
Yeah.
A lot of the times they just don't show up to the polls.
They don't show
and
up.
if they do, it's the day after. That's the problem with that stance.
That is true. All right. Pittsburgh Steelers player Rashard Mendenhall lost his endorsement deal with Champion over his controversial tweets following the bin Laden raid. In those tweets, Mendenhall questioned the 9/11 attacks, saying he had a hard time believing a plane could take down a skyscraper demolition style. The reason being he's just really stupid. Mark, should coaches or anybody just try to keep athletes off social media?
Anybody who gets paid to be popular should not tweet.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. About anything that matters.
Yeah.
It should be like going to gym, going home from gym, playing with kittens. You should not say anything. I mean, even if you agree with that, and I happen not to, I think 9/11 was really happened. Good. Let me be clear. I think 9/11 really happened. David Horowitz, if you're watching, 9/11 really happened. Not unlike this Osama thing, which is a conspiracy. I just want to put that out.
I'm with you.
But even if you believe that, keep that to yourself. Even if you think that the Osama thing was a bad idea, keep that to yourself. If your job is to be liked by people, you don't say that. And if you say it, you don't say it after 9/11. You wait like 30 years and you say it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, really,
Yeah. What do you think, MCAT? Should he have lost his sponsorship?
This is part of his job is to be above board and to act like, a decent human being in public, and he didn't do that, although I guess there's a lot of NFL players who haven't done that, who haven't lost things. But yeah, I just think that's part of his job.
And what do you think?
As usual, I agree with everything Professor Hill has said.
Yes.
And I would like to reiterate that until we see the photo, we are not believing Osama is dead.
He's alive.
This is what I don't understand about the Osama pictures, is that you've seen the 9/11 thing take root with all these folks who just think this random stuff, and the picture would help.
Why not give us the
happen
picture?
Here.
Because he doesn't have one.
He's only alive in your heart.
He doesn't have one.
Phil, last word on this?
When I was a kid, I didn't want to be a sports writer because I thought it would be difficult. I'm not one for statistics, but thanks to Twitter, being a sports writer is the easiest thing on planet Earth. Once again, I didn't think things through.
Yes, and that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
Thanks, America.
Yes. Time for another break, and remember to check out the new Red Eye podcast. There's a new one every day. To catch them, go on foxnewsradio.com right there, and then you click on Red Eye. Tonight we talked about hangovers. So we have a choice here. So in Florida, a new bill is on the table that would require schools to include stress standards in their codes of conduct. The Droopy Drawers bill would ban students from wearing clothing in a revealing or disruptive way, with penalties from a verbal warning to an in-school suspension. Marc, I go to you first for no reason in particular. How do you stand on the whole saggy pants thing?
I'm pro saggy pants.
You are?
Yes, I don't wear them myself anymore because I'm too old to.
Yes. When did you stop?
What's today? Tuesday, right? But the point is that there's this war on youth, and all around the country, all we do is attack youth for everything, for their fashion, for what they do. There's more important issues to deal with here, like the Osama conspiracy.
Yes, of course.
We're dealing with this pants issue. I mean, we're in Brooklyn, actually in New York, they criminalize baggy pants. They're trying to make it a criminal ordinance. In Florida and Georgia, they're trying to criminalize baggy pants. It's an attack on young people, and it's an attack on hip-hop culture.
Interesting.
I think that's a great point. I think we should just come out and directly attack youth.
Right. You want to beat around the bush, right?
You are useless.
Yeah,
I am jealous of your ability to play sports better than me.
No, they have way too much self-esteem. I've had it with young people.
Yeah. But I have to say, at some point, like Professor Marc Lamont Hill, you stop doing it because you can't go to a job interview, right?
Well, I'm a federalist on saggy pants, so for the state government to do it is okay. If the federal government did it, I would be upset. I've always had a strict rule on that.
Bill, you actually started the trend of soggy, not saggy. Can you explain that?
It's actually interesting you mentioned that, because in college my nickname was Droopy Drawers Bill.
Yeah.
But not because of what I wore, but because of what I would leave in their cupboards.
Oh, terrible. Why in God's...
Snarfing, come out of your nose.
It will not, sir. It will not.
We could have had our first snarf.
Do I have time for this? So last night I told you how much I enjoy shaving the backs of bikers, and I do, but I also love charity. So let's get to the latest piece of art. It's called Unicorn with a Mop. It's a unicorn with a mop, and you can tell it's a mop because it says so. Anyway, congratulations to Jackie and Malcolm Heath, who just outbidded themselves, winning the art with a $2,501 bid. They got, for $2,500, they got that. Apparently, they came into some inheritance money, and they're sending a sizable lump this way. Very nice. Before I move on, I'd also like to thank Lori Linville, who sent a $500 check to TAPS just for the heck of it, which is a nice gesture. Now, on to the next piece of art. Here it is. It's Unicorn Jones holding the head of Osama bin Laden. Like I always say,
I'm asking.
I know, that's all you're asking. But you never mess with those unicorns. That's what I always say. So for this piece of art, which is beautiful, I might add, and you notice I wrote Osama's head next to it so you can see that. Email your offer to redeye@foxnews.com to be considered, and it'll look nicer.
Who's
trust
that
me.
in the background? David Gregory?
No, that's Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen is in the background because he's suddenly being ignored. He's no longer in the news, so he's just sitting there going, "Why isn't anybody paying attention to me?" It's because the unicorns got Osama. All right, all the money goes to TAPS, a nonprofit group that provides grief counseling and support programs to families of fallen soldiers. Go to taps.org to learn more, and let's not forget the real message. It's not about charity. It's about me getting a better seat at a football game. Let's stop there. We got to take a break. When we come back, post-game wrap-up. Back to TV's Andy Levy for the post-game wrap-up. Hey, Andy, great job on Hannity tonight.
Thanks. Great job on O'Reilly.
Oh, thanks.
Also, that Lori Linville who sent in the money to TAPS.
Yeah.
She was great on MASH.
Yeah.
No. MCAT, congratulations on getting married last weekend. I'm sure you will make Prince William very happy.
Thank you very much. I do my best.
But here's my question. How did you not live tweet your wedding?
I was very proud of myself. I kept it till like 7 hours later. I got my BlackBerry. It was like this. Although I've seen reception pictures, and it's unclear whether I married a man or a Coors Light can. We'll see.
Okay. Excellent. Hey, Professor, you happy with your Phillies start so far? 21-9, I think.
You're so racially insensitive. Black people are still watching hockey season right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you are. Yeah.
Flyers have not been eliminated by the Bruins yet, so that's what I'm watching, okay? Look for a change in goaltending and more efficient.
You have never seen a hockey game in your life, sir.
No.
Yeah.
One time I was in a holding cell and they were showing it.
He once chased a white man with a stick.
Horrible.
You're never going to let that go, are you, Greg?
I know.
You owed me money.
I still have scars.
The worst part is it wasn't a stick.